The Legend of Bigfoot 4. Austin prided himself on his construction business, a name synonymous with quality homes in remote, tranquil settings. A recent client had requested a house deep in the heart of Thornraven Forest. It was a secluded, untouched expanse that boasted towering pines, fog-drenched trails, and an eerie silence that seemed to echo through the woods. Austin arrived early one brisk morning, armed with blueprints and a laser measurer, determined to scope out the land. He parked his truck at the forest's edge and trekked into the trees, whistling softly to drown out the quiet. "Perfect spot," he muttered as he reached a clearing surrounded by ancient trees, their gnarled branches twisting toward the sky. He could already imagine the house rising from the ground, its sleek design juxtaposed against the wild backdrop. The wind shifted. A rumbling sound, something between a growl and a groan, made him freeze. He turned, scanning the shadows between the trees. "Hello?" he called out, his voice breaking slightly. No answer. Shaking it off, Austin pressed on, marking key spots with stakes. Yet the feeling of being watched clung to him. The forest felt alive, each rustle of leaves or snap of a branch amplifying his unease. As he bent down to secure another stake, he heard it. A thunderous crashing sound, like something massive plowing through the underbrush. His pulse spiked, and before he could react, a monstrous figure burst through the trees. It was nearly 10 feet tall, covered in matted fur the color of ash. Its eyes, glowing with an unnatural intelligence, locked onto him. Austin barely had time to scream before it charged. A massive hand swiped him off his feet, the impact sending his tools flying. He clawed at the ground, desperate to escape, but the creature was too strong. "No! Let me go!" he shouted, his voice echoing through the trees. Bigfoot hoisted him effortlessly over its shoulder and bounded deeper into the forest. The world blurred around him, trees rushing past in streaks of green and brown. After what felt like hours, they arrived at the mouth of a cave. The air was damp and heavy, carrying the faint stench of decay. The creature dragged Austin inside, throwing him into a crude cage fashioned from thick branches and vines. Gasping for breath, Austin scrambled to the edge of the cage. "What do you want from me?" Bigfoot stood there, towering and menacing. To Austin's astonishment, it spoke. "You dare trespass on sacred ground, human?" Its voice was deep and gravelly, each word weighted with anger. Austin's eyes widened. "You can talk?" The creature stepped closer, its glowing eyes boring into him. "We spoke long before your kind learned to. We lived alongside you once. We built, we shared, we thrived. Together." Austin shook his head, trying to process the impossible. "What are you talking about?" The creature crouched, bringing its face level with Austin's. Its breath was hot and rank, making him recoil. "Your ancestors and mine were brothers," it began, its tone laced with bitterness. "We walked this earth as one, creating harmony between nature and life. But greed poisoned your kind. You saw our fur as trophies, our strength as a threat. You hunted us, skinned us, slaughtered us." Austin swallowed hard, his mind racing. "That was centuries ago. That wasn't me." Bigfoot snarled, shaking the cage. "It was your kind. And we remember. We retreated into the shadows, but not out of fear. Out of rage. We vowed to hunt you as you hunted us." Austin's heart pounded. "Please, I didn't know. I'm just here to build a house. I'll leave, I swear." The creature let out a chilling laugh, a sound that echoed through the cave like a death knell. "Leave? You think you can desecrate our land and simply walk away?" Austin's voice cracked as he pleaded. What are you going to do to me?" The Bigfoot rose, towering over him. It moved to the center of the cave where it began building a fire. The flames danced, casting grotesque shadows on the walls. Austin's stomach churned. No, please, don't do this!" The Bigfoot ignored him, its movements methodical. As the fire roared to life, it turned back to the cage, its eyes gleaming with a sinister hunger. "You, human, will serve as a reminder. Your screams will echo through these woods, a warning to those who dare to intrude." Austin gripped the cage's bars, his knuckles white. "You don't have to do this. I can help you. I can tell people to stay away." The creature chuckled darkly. "Lies. Your kind only knows how to destroy." Desperation consumed Austin. He threw himself against the cage, screaming and begging, but the Bigfoot was unmoved. It reached into the fire, pulling out a glowing hot stone that it used to sharpen a crude blade. The cave filled with the sound of Austin's frantic cries, mingling with the rhythmic scraping of the blade against stone. "Please!" Austin sobbed. "I have a family! I have a life!" The creature paused, tilting its head. "And how many lives have your kind stolen from us?" Austin was trembling, his voice barely a whisper. "I didn't know. I didn't know." The creature stepped closer, the blade gleaming in the firelight. "Ignorance does not absolve guilt." With a sudden, swift motion, the creature swung the cage open. Austin scrambled back, but there was nowhere to go. The last thing he saw was the creature's gleaming eyes and the blade descending. The forest was silent again, save for the crackling of the fire. The creature sat by the flames, gnawing on a bone. Outside, the moon rose high over Dogan Forest, its light unable to penetrate the darkness within. The trees stood as silent witnesses, their branches swaying in a wind that carried no sound. And somewhere deep in the woods, Austin's truck sat abandoned, a haunting reminder of those who dared to trespass on sacred ground.